The world watches as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky embark on crucial visits to Washington. These visits carry immense geopolitical weight. They underscore a changing world order. Old alliances are being re-evaluated. New partnerships are taking shape. The United States is recalibrating its global role. Modi and Zelensky's visits come at a pivotal time. The international order is in flux. The war in Ukraine has shattered the illusion of lasting peace in Europe. China's rise continues to reshape the geopolitical landscape. These visits offer a glimpse into the future of global power dynamics. They highlight the shifting alliances and priorities of nations navigating a complex and uncertain world. The outcomes of these visits have the potential to reshape global alliances. They could redefine the geopolitical chessboard for years to come. It is a moment of both opportunity and uncertainty. The stakes are high for all involved. The simultaneous visits of these two leaders highlight the interconnected nature of global challenges. They underscore the need for multilateral solutions and strategic partnerships in addressing them. The world waits to see what agreements will be forged and what impact these visits will have on the future of global politics. Modi's visit to Washington is marked by a complex interplay of cooperation and contention. Trade tensions, security concerns, and the global implications of a rising China will dominate the agenda. The United States sees India as a key player in its Indo-Pacific strategy. It aims to counterbalance China's growing influence.
India, with its burgeoning economy, seeks to assert its role on the world stage. It wants to secure its interests in the Indo-Pacific region. However, trade disputes and recent deportations have strained the relationship. These issues will need to be addressed for a more robust partnership to emerge.
Despite these challenges, there are significant areas of convergence. Both countries share concerns about China's assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific. They are both looking to strengthen defense cooperation.
Zelensky's visit to Washington is overshadowed by the ongoing war with Russia. He comes seeking continued support. He needs military aid to defend his country. He is also looking for diplomatic backing. He wants to isolate Russia on the world stage.
The United States has been a steadfast ally to Ukraine. It has provided billions of dollars in military aid. It has imposed sanctions on Russia. Zelensky's visit comes at a critical juncture in the war. The conflict has entered a protracted phase. The human cost continues to mount. The global economy is feeling the strain of disrupted supply chains and energy shortages. The United States is under pressure to find a way to end the conflict.
Ukraine's vast reserves of rare earth minerals add another layer of complexity to the situation. These minerals are crucial for high-tech industries. They are essential for the production of everything from smartphones to electric vehicles to advanced weapon systems. The United States is keen to secure access to these resources. It wants to reduce its dependence on China.
This has led to speculation about a potential shift in United States policy. Some analysts believe that the United States may be willing to pressure Ukraine into a peace deal with Russia in exchange for access to its rare earth minerals. This would represent a move towards transactional diplomacy. It would prioritize economic interests over strategic considerations. The visits of Modi and Zelensky highlight the changing dynamics of global politics. The United States is no longer the sole superpower. It is facing challenges from rising powers like China and resurgent powers like Russia. The rules-based international order is under strain. The world is becoming increasingly multipolar.
In this new environment, the United States is seeking to forge strategic partnerships. It wants to counter the influence of its rivals. India, with its growing economic and military might, is a natural partner. Ukraine, located at the crossroads of Europe and Russia, is a key strategic asset. However, these partnerships are not without their challenges. India is wary of being seen as aligning too closely with the United States. It wants to maintain its strategic autonomy.
Ukraine is caught in a geopolitical tug-of-war between Russia and the West. The outcomes of Modi and Zelensky's visits to Washington will have far-reaching implications. They will shape the future of United States foreign policy. They will affect the balance of power in key regions. The world is watching closely.